In this video, I'm going to show you how to install a super high power stereo system on a budget. And what if I tell you, you could have a stereo system that will rattle the car next to you at a stoplight for about $500. And so, real simple setup. All you need is one of these kickers, L7, an amplifier. I'm gonna need a head unit. I'll show you what my install is gonna be, but you won't need a head unit. You just tap off from your factory car stereo, and so you can use like all the existing stuff, and all you do is just adding a subwoofer, an amplifier, and a signal converter. I can go through the part list and explain to you how you can get that done on the single setup. So we're looking only about $500 to have a super high bass SPL system. For my setup, I'm gonna go through the entire process with you. I actually decided to do 4 of these L7R, and I'm driving it with a bigger amp. This is a 1800 IMS amp from Kicker. Reason I'm doing 4 just because I put this in a Oldsmobile. It's a 71 Oldsmobile. Has a huge trunk, so I have the space. I'm probably not gonna need 4, but it's kind of cool to have them. It's gonna be like super loud. It's gonna rattle everything around me. So yeah, and of course you're gonna need a wiring kit, something like this. This is a 0 gauge for my setup. You guys don't need a 0 gauge. You probably need an 8 gauge or a 4 gauge. This is about $40. So yeah, for what you guys are doing, if you want to have a simple setup on a budget, you can do it like a little bit under $500. For me, this entire system, it costs about $1,500. But it's going to be an insane system. I do need a battery next to the amplifier just because I'm running a high power amplifier. If you're going to use a 400 IMS version, it's probably half this size. And matter of fact, I installed one in my truck. I have a video on that, you can take a look. But this is what I installed in my truck. It's 400 watts IMS power. This is all you need to drive one of this big boy. You need to get a box. Just buy a prefab one in eBay. They cost under $100. I'm gonna make my custom box. I can show you how I make them. It's only cost me probably $60 worth of wood. It's MDF wood. So yeah, so stay tuned. I'll go through all the details with you. So this is the Oldsmobile Cutlass that I'm gonna put the stereo system on. Got this from a guy that partially restored. I'm finishing the restoration up. So when I have the fenders, the inner fenders out, figure is the best place to put the stereo system, because what happens is I need to run the 0 gauge through the firewall, and since it's there, it's easy to get it done now. This car is pretty much 100% original. Interior is in great shape. Everything is pretty much original in this car. Here's the reason why I chose to do 4 12-inch. It has a huge trunk, and I'm able to get the box in quite easy. Yeah, so the way this car was put together is, like I said, it's 100% almost original. Look at these wheels; those are original wheels as well. So my plan is to make this a sleeper. So nobody's gonna expect that I have that crazy stereo system in it. So when it gets cranked up, somebody's gonna have a good laugh. So anyway, that's the plan. Okay, so let's go through the options that are available to you. I'm strictly focusing on putting together a kicker system, but you can do plenty of other brands. I like kickers. I use them for years and have real good luck with them. So anyway, let's get started. If you want to have a really simple system, you can do a one subwoofer setup, and the way I tally up the cost, it's going to be $466. So it's slightly under $500. So what you're going to need is one of the L7R 12-inch subwoofer with a 2-ohm dual voice coil. Reason for that is that it's a 2-ohm dual voice coil. You can hook it in parallel to get it to a 1-ohm, and that way you can use a CX 400.1 amplifier. That'll get you 400 watts IMS, and that's going to be a killer system for a really simple setup. You're going to need a line out converter. Kicker makes them. Here's the photo of it. That's the part number. You can look them up. They're only $20. But what they do is they let you tap into a high output from your speaker. So what you need to do is just keep your factory stereo, don't change anything. Locate the rear speaker wire, just one, either the right or left, doesn't matter. Just pick one of those, locate what they are, tap into them, and then hook them up into this line out converter. It will convert into these two low level output. So these are just RCA cable that you're going to hook up to your amp. So after you get that done, you pretty much feed power to this amp, and you're good to go. Real simple setup. You're gonna need a wiring kit. For this setup, Kicker I recommend a 8 gauge wiring kit. So you're okay with getting an 8 gauge wire from the battery to your amplifier, and then make sure you ground that with an 8 gauge as well. Subwoofer boxes, you can just go to Amazon, get one of these for $60. I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to spend money on a couple of other things, but it's gonna be close to $500 for that setup. You have any additional questions, just put it in the comments and I'll answer the question for you. Now, if you have a little bit more money and or you want to spend a little bit more money, you can spend about $800 for a 2 woofer setup, and we're still using the same L7R 12-inch. You can go with a 10-inch if you want. I like 12-inch. They hit a little lower. Or you can set 2 of those up. You gotta buy a 4-ohm dual voice coil, because what you need to do is one of these is 4-ohm, or you hook them up in parallel, you get into 2 ohms, right? So each one of your speaker total is 2 ohm, and you hook the 2 speaker up in parallel, which reduces down to 1 ohm stable. And this CX 80-0.1 is stable at 1 ohm, so you can go all the way down to 1 ohm to get 800 IMS, watts IMS. So that's going to be a killer system. The rest of the setup's the same. You still need to have a line out converter, just like the one subwoofer setup. Set up the same way. Keep all your factory stuff. You need a 4 gauge wiring kit, so the power wire and ground wire gets bigger, twice as big. You get the box from Amazon. They have one of these for 2 woofers, and $80. Now, if you want to do a killer system like what my setup's going to be, I'm doing 4. And for my setup, I'm still going to use the L7R 4 ohms dual voice coil. And I'm going to hook them up in series first to get to 8 ohms. And then I'm going to hook parallel of those 4 speakers to get it down to 2 ohm stable. And at 2 ohm, I'm still getting 1800 watts IMS of power. It's kind of weird the way this amplifier works. You can go down to 1 ohm, and they say you also have 1800 YMS plus or minus 10%. But if you go to 2 ohm, you get 1800. So I'm just being a little conservative. I think 2 ohms it's going to run a little cooler, and I'm still getting 1800 watts IMS. So that's what I'm going to do. Now for my setup though, I'm going to do a custom built box, right? So it's only going to cost me $60 for MDF board. Get them from Home Depot. I'm going to need an Optima battery, just because my amp is way too powerful for drawing current to from the front speaker. You need something right close to it. I already have it, so I didn't put any money down for total cost. I'm not gonna need a line out converter because I'm gonna get my own head unit. So I'm getting a Pioneer head unit. It's a 1 DIN because it's an older car for $140. You don't need a crazy head unit because you're gonna amplify the sound anyway. I have a equalizer or signal processor laying around, so I'm gonna use that. Didn't put any cost down. I'm just getting mid-range and high speakers. They're all gonna be installed in the front. And reason why I want all the high, mid and high in the front is that I'm not setting this system up for a sound quality setup. I want really nice bass and high coming from the front. So it's not well balanced, but it's gonna sound cool. Like the bass is gonna hit you in the back, and then you get the highs coming from the front. So it's a totally different setup than a sound quality setup. So I'm gonna put this in front. I'm debating whether I'm gonna add another amplifier to drive a very high power tweeter. So I can decide that later. It's not a big deal, but I want to get the basic system in first. So that's it, guys. That's just some basic setup or plans that I want to show you. Now I'm gonna go build that box, so I can start putting things together, and we'll show you guys how it sounds. Okay, so I started to make the box, and these are MDF. Get this kind, the finer kind. They have like the rougher type as well. I don't like that. It doesn't cut as well as these. So I started to mark out where I wanted to cut. Make sure you guys have one of these squares. It's very helpful building boxes. On one of this jigsaw, I use it all the time. When you cut into like places with this saw, the hand saw, because it's round, you need to kind of use this to cut the rest of the corners for the pieces to fall out. So anyway, this is the what I had planned for the box. So there's going to be one speaker goes there, 2 goes here, and then another one goes here. So there'll be a total of 4. I made the box a little bit bigger than it needs to be, so I trim it back because I wanted to push further back into the trunk of the car. So this is where your jigsaw is going to become very useful. You use your circular saw and you cut to here, and then you cut all the way to here with a circular saw, but then the blade is round, right? So you get like a lot of material below to remove. And a good way to do that is to use this jigsaw. And you just come in because it's going straight. And, see if I get a good shot here. There's no good shots. Oh, here we go. That's the one side. And then, so now this side is perfectly cut all the way down. You go to this side, cut through to this corner, and then your piece will be separated. So, Jacob, you show one of these if you want to work on some of this MDF board. It's very useful. So I got a little bit further on building the box. I had to put a base down first because there's a lot of like raised surfaces, stuff like this. That's one here for the spare tire. So I just cut a hole around it. And then the box is going on top of all of that, so the box doesn't get like point loads on them. So there's a step from down here to up there, and it's about 6 inches difference. So what I did was I just built this 6 inches up, and then I'm going to build another piece going back, then up, then the top will get a bigger piece. That's the only way I can get 4 cubic inch in there. It's kind of a pain to go through all the obstacles, but it's okay. You know, it's pretty straightforward. Just make sure you use a lot of liquid nails in between, and then just go around all the joints. Make sure that your box is sealed properly. Liquid nails, when it dries up, is really hard. Really good stuff. Use lots of it. At this point, I get that top piece to go on, and do some measurements. Make sure that the back of that back corner is actually touching the car. That way I can have some loadings down here and some from up there. It's getting towards the end of the day. I'm going to call it quit. But next weekend I'm going to start working on that top portion of it, and then the front end. And hopefully we can get the speaker to go in there for a mock-up. Okay, so I took a little bit of break from making the box. I figured this is probably the best time to get the routing or the wire done while the box is out unfinished. So I basically just pull this 0 gauge cable all the way out back. So I got it in place. Just make sure you use grommets like this for all the holes that you drill into the steel. So I decided to go through the fender. I got this close up already, so you can't see, but basically it's inside that inner fender that I took out that I showed you before. In here, let me see if I can show. Yeah, you can see I decided to tap a hole right through there. It's on the inside of the kick panel, which is great. And then I just like loop it all the way out back. You can see that I also have this remote turn on cable on this side. So it's a remote turn on and power cable on this side only. And every car is different, guys. So this is just very specific to the Oldsmobile. And I went through, I removed the rear seat and brought the cables out, or the 0 gauge wire out, and the remote turn on. So remote turn on and power's on this side. The RCA cables on this side, just make sure you separate them, just so it doesn't get the noise coming from the power cables. Same thing on this side. I'll just like go right under the carpet and loop it all the way out back. So at this point, I can go back and build the box because I have everything I need for the subwoofer setup. Made some really good progress with the box. So I got the front face all put in. So those are going to be the 4 12-inch facing the rear facing. Put in all the braces. So when you build a box like this, just make sure you brace them real well. You know, just like all of these braces are, just keep it stable. It's going to be very high pressure on the inside, so you want to just use a lot of liquid nails on all the joints. Make sure everything is sealed up. But yeah, so I'm kind of building the box from the ground up. You see everything on the ground is done. Now I'm gonna start building the side and the top. Okay, so the box is done. Still gotta vacuum all the sawdust out of there. But yeah, you can see I had to trim a little bit inside to fit the magnet. You see that trim back there? Other than that, everything fit just fine. Up here, I had to step down a couple of times because of the clearances issues. But everything should fit just fine. I had to step it down because of the, you see those two corners right there? That's where the interference is. All right, I made really good progress today. Got the box in finally. You can see this push all the way out back. Plenty of trunk space still. I had to cut a little bit in the back. You can see this not as deep as it was. I think I trimmed off like maybe 4 or 5 inches or something like that. I still got over 4 cubic feet. The whole box, so it should be fine. I just couldn't get the box in, but this went in okay. Still need to like put a couple of more panels here. We'll put an amplifier here, and we'll get the speaker in. But so far it's looking really good. Planning on adding the battery in there if there's room. Otherwise, I'm probably going to put it in the front, both batteries in the front. I do like the battery to be closer to the amplifier, so we'll see how it goes. I wanted to show you guys this real quick before I put this last subwoofer in. I'm putting these 4 subwoofers in, well, first I run them in series from each one of this dual coil. So I'm running a positive to a negative, and then there's 2 more terminals over here. So I'm going to run this positive and negative to my 3 other speakers. So what happened is this is in series. It'll give me 8 ohms each, and I have 4 of these, and I run them in parallel. So it goes down to 2 ohms, and that's why I want it for the amplifier. Now let's take a walk over, show you guys the 3 that I already had installed. So there you go. Haven't cleaned anything up yet, but you can see the 3 is in. I'm down to my last one, and I'm coming out of those 3, which is a plus and a minus, because I'm running these in parallel. So I just go from one speaker to the other, and I'm gonna hook this up to my last one, and then the last one will have a plus and minus coming out of the box to make it simple, and then it goes to the amplifier. I'll show you that next. I finally got the everything back here completed. You can see it's a nice and clean install. The amp hookups right here is really simple. Basically, that's the ground, the 12 volt constant power coming from the front. Right there is your remote turn on, and then these two are speaker hookup. And then on this side, it just got the RCA cable hooked up right there. So yeah, really simple hookup. I did add a circuit breaker or a fuse right here, just making sure anything happened, it'll burn that fuse. I have a circuit breaker in the front too that I can show you in a minute. But yeah, there you go. I'm pretty much done up here in the front. I decided to just go with the one deep cycle battery for now and see if it's supply enough power, so I don't have to run another battery. I don't like putting another battery out back because it's already really heavy back there with all the subwoofer in the box. So you can see the 0 gauge wire, and it goes into the circuit breaker right there. And then it goes to the terminal. Now make sure you have solid ground. So I also ran 0 gauge that goes all the way down. You can see right there. I tie it right to the frame of the car. Make sure we have good grounding. And you notice I also have this cutoff ground. Just so when I don't use the car, I just turn this off, isolate all the electricity from the car. This is an older car. It's a good idea to do that, just in case you run into an electrical problem and cause a fire. Right, so I'm going to show you how simple it is to actually working on head units. So this is a Pioneer unit I bought recently, and this is kind of a new design from Pioneer. They're all pretty much the same. I got this one for like 120 bucks or something like that. It has Bluetooth and all that good stuff. It's a single DIN. It goes with the older cars. So as far as connection goes, and it's same, the connections are the same for the double DIN, by the way, if you hook up like a more modern system. So I'm also going to hook up my digital processor. This is the one that I owned many years ago. It's a Pioneer DEQ 7600. I love this unit. It has really cool digital display. So I'm just gonna hook it up. I might like actually use it for later for mids and highs, but for right now, I'm just gonna hook it up, and just so I have future expansions on it. As far as getting the electrical hookup, it's like super simple. So I pulled this right off from the back of the unit. It has a plug and play that you just like clip, press on the clip, and then you release it. So these are the two units. First you see there's a black wire. I tie them together, and then at the end, I'm going to tie this to the chassis, so make sure that I get good grounding. Now let's talk about the head unit first. So out of this, it looks pretty intimidating, right? But it's really simple, and you can get all the color code from the manual that comes with the head unit. But basically, the blue one is already says system remote control, so you know this one send a signal to your amplifier or whatever it is with a 12 volt when you turn the head unit on. I'm also going to use this to tie to my digital processor because it needs a remote turn on. The yellow one is a constant power, and it was in the manual. So you hook this up to the battery. It always provides power. This one is when your ignition get turned on, the red one. So that's take care of your power. And look at all these. These look intimidating, but again, it says on the manual these are for speakers. So there's a plus and minus, left and right, and then front and rear. So I stripped these because these are for the front. I'm only gonna run front speakers. So these fall for the front, and then these four for the rear. And again, the manual will tell you the color and what it's for. So I'm just gonna like leave this alone, not use it. This is for illumination. So in case if you want to dim your lights on the head unit when the headlights turned on. I really don't care about this one, so I'm just going to leave it out, make the installation simple. So that's it for the head unit. When you get done with your electrical hookup, you plug into the unit and you're done. My digital processor has been easier. It's only got like this constant power, let's say battery, really simple. Remote control, this is the one that I have to tie to this blue. You see that this blue is kind of short, so I just like connect it to make it the same length so I can connect these two. Then this two goes to my amp. So all of these are just remote controls. This say ILL, which is illumination. Again, this is the same thing as my other head unit. This one I don't do anything about. I'm just gonna leave it alone. And then the other one is the black one we already talked about. So that's it, guys. It's that simple to actually hook up the electricity and all your speaker wire on a head unit if you wanted to completely run your own wires. So yeah, that's it. It's that simple. So I'm working on the head unit now. You can see that this is the piece that I just recently added. Add some gauges on that side because the older car doesn't have oil pressure and water temperature and all that good stuff. So added it while I was at it. And then I added 2 single DIN slots so I can put a single DIN head unit and a processor right over there. What I really want to show you guys is that this electrical connection over here, and it's kind of a new technology. You just insert a wire from each side, and this lead piece that gets melted as you heat it up with like a hairdryer or one of these heat guns. This is what I use, and it makes a solid soldered connection for you, because that is actually just like being soldered, and it makes a really solid connection. So you can see that I make the lines long enough for me to work on these. I'll show you guys this 2 bundle before. One go to stereo, one go to head unit, and so I'm just sitting on the driver's side making all the connections. Really simple, just like this one is the constant power go to both of the unit. Then this one is the ground. I was talking about that. I was just doing some testing. I have one open loop right here. I want to make sure I get the voltage I was looking for. When I'm done with that, I'll just move this over to be under there, and then plug in the head unit, and then close everything up and hide all the wires. So. Alright guys, so the interior is completed. I got the head unit installed and everything. You can see that's the head unit. That's a signal processor, and some gauges on that side. And you can see I only have 2 speakers up here. It's a 6.5 in the front. So there's a 6.5 there, and there's another one down there. This is a kick panel speakers, and I got it from a website for I think it's like $80 or something for both pieces. Very reasonable. So yeah, I want to show you guys this, and then I'm gonna go in and turn the stereo on. Once it's on, I can't talk anymore because you won't hear. Yeah, well, I'll have it crank up for you. Alright guys, not too many selection for songs I can play for you guys due to the YouTube protection on the copyright stuff. So yeah, let's crank this thing up. and find it helpful for you. I have 2 other videos that that relating to this particular project. This video I shows a little bit more detail, but my other videos, there's one short one that you just get an overview of the project, and then another one that give you even further details on installing stereo system in general. So you might find that one a little bit more helpful if you want to set up something yourselves. So again, I appreciate you guys tuning into KT Garage. You like the content, please like and subscribe. Thank you.